Hello, welcome to Biography TV. If you're new here, please subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't miss our next video. Biography of José Eduardo dos Santos. José Eduardo dos Santos is an Angolan politician who served as the country's president from 1979 to 2017. During this time, he also served as the Commander-in-Chief of the Angolan Armed Forces (FAA) and President of the People's Movement for the Liberation of Angola (MPLA). Eduardo dos Santos was born on the 28th of August 1942 in the region currently known as Sambizanga in Luanda. His parents were Avelino Eduardo dos Santos and Jacinta Paulino. He attended a primary school in Luanda, while his secondary education was at the Liceu Salvador Correa, which is the present-day Mutu Kevela. As a student, Eduardo dos Santos joined the MPLA, and that was the beginning of his political career. Due to repression from the colonial government, he went into exile in 1961. While in exile in neighboring Congo-Brazzaville, he continued his education and later went to the Soviet Union in 1969 and bagged degrees in petroleum engineering and radar communications from the Azerbaijan Oil and Chemistry Institute in Baku, Azerbaijan. In 1970, Eduardo dos Santos returned to Angola, which was still a Portuguese territory called the Overseas Province of Angola. He served as a radio transmitter in the military wing of the MPLA's EPLA guerrilla force, Exército para a Libertação de Angola, which later got its name changed to the People's Armed Forces for the Liberation of Angola, FAPLA. In 1974, he was promoted to the position of sub-commander of the telecom service of the Second Region, serving as the MPLA's representative to Yugoslavia, Zaire, and the People's Republic of China. In June 1975, Eduardo dos Santos became coordinator of the MPLA's Department of Foreign Affairs and the Department of Health. When Angola gained independence in November 1975, Eduardo dos Santos was appointed as Angola's First Minister of Foreign Affairs. Furthermore, at the MPLA's first Congress in December 1977, he was re-elected to the Central Committee and Politburo. In December 1978, he was transferred from the post of First Deputy Prime Minister to that of Minister of Planning. After the death of Angola's first president, Agostinho Neto, on the 10th of September 1979, Eduardo dos Santos was elected president of the MPLA on the 20th of September 1979 and assumed the office as president of Angola and commander-in-chief of the armed forces on the 21st of September. He was also elected as president of the People's Assembly on the 9th of November 1980. Eduardo dos Santos' greatest challenge as president was the conflict with the main rival liberation movement, the National Union for the Total Integration of Angola, UNITA. Led by Jonas Savimbi and supported by the United States and South Africa, UNITA displayed outright opposition to the legitimacy of the MPLA as the ruling government of Angola. This triggered opposition and conflict on many occasions. Unfortunately, it eventually led to a 27-year civil war that crumbled Angola's economy, among other challenges. On the 29th and 30th of September 1992, which was the 16th year of the war that had claimed over 300,000 lives, elections were held in Angola under the United Nations supervision. Eduardo dos Santos won the election against his main rival, Jonas Savimbi. However, there was a second round of elections as he had not reached the absolute majority. The second round never took place as UNITA declared that it did not recognize the election. This resulted in a 3-day war that led to the Halloween massacre, in which the MPLA forces killed tens of thousands of UNITA protesters. Savimbi gave up on the elections, alleging voting fraud, and immediately resumed the civil war. Eduardo dos Santos remained in office at this time. In 2001, after the civil war had ended, Eduardo dos Santos announced that he would step down before the next presidential election. He was re-elected as the head of the MPLA in December 2003, and there was no presidential election afterward, despite the plans to hold one at various times. On the 24th of October 2019, José Eduardo dos Santos escaped an assassination attempt when a vehicle tried to intercept his car while he returned from an outing at the beach, which he went with his family. In September 2011, young Angolans held demonstrations against Eduardo dos Santos as they accused him of leading one of the most corrupt regimes in Africa. They complained that he only amassed wealth for himself and silenced the opposition, while the economic and social needs of Angolans were constantly ignored. José Eduardo dos Santos was named Man of the Year 2014 by Africa World Magazine, owing to his contribution to the recovery of Angola's economy and democracy since the end of the war. He is also celebrated for the major role he played in ensuring the country's independence, alongside his commitment to promoting peace and democracy in the country through his tactful negotiations with opposition movements in a bid to end the civil war. In December 2016, the MPLA chose João Lourenço, the Minister of Defense and Vice President of the MPLA, as its candidate for the 2017 presidential election, stating that Eduardo dos Santos would leave office. He did leave office. However, he remained in his post as president of the MPLA, playing a key role at the top of Angolan politics. What have we missed out of this biography of Eduardo dos Santos? Let's know in the comment section. Will it be ridiculous to subscribe to our channel? If no, please like this video, share, and subscribe to our channel.